Sir, Faraz sir. Hello children, today we are going to start a new topic, that is diversity. Diversity in the living world. Okay, and in that first thing is living organisms. Living organisms. Hello children, today we are going to start a new chapter, that is diversity in the living world. So in this first we will be dealing with what is living world. So we see many organisms around us. So those are, some of them are living organisms and some of them are non-living organisms. The organisms which we see around us, few are living organisms and few are non-living organisms. So now when we define these living organisms, what do we mean by living organisms? Right from the starting we have been learning this one, that living organisms are the organisms which shows growth. The organisms which shows growth, which reproduce, which responds to stimulus. So basically what we have learned is the organisms which shows growth, which shows reproduction and which responds to stimulus. Okay, so such organisms are called as living organisms. Now in this lesson we will see that actually are these the characteristics which basically define whether an organism is a living organism or not. So we will see that whether these are the defining characters of a living organisms or not. So first we will deal with one by one. Let us see first growth. Growth. What actually is a growth? Growth is nothing but increase in number of cells or growth is nothing but increase in number of cells or mass of cells, or we can even say increase in size. When we define growth, we can define growth as increase in number of cells or mass of cells or the size of cells. So it is a irreversible change. It is an irreversible change. So growth is nothing but here irreversible change in the number of cells mass of cells and size of the cell. So now, right from the beginning, when we were very small, till we have till of this age. Now, are we of the same size? No, we have shown growth. How can we say that we have shown growth? We can say by seeing the increase in the size. We can say by increase in the size. If there is increase in size, then we say that growth has taken place. Okay. Growth has taken place. But can we say a bit about the same about non-living things? Can non-living things grow? Here we will take an example. In non-living things, we will take an example of a sand dune. These sand dunes, we find these sand dunes in desert regions. Most probably we find them in the desert regions. So, sand dunes are nothing but small heaps of sand. So, what happens? At the starting of the day, the heap of the sand was of this size. Now, as the day grows, as the time goes, here few drops, that is few particles of sand from other places because of the wind have came and accumulated on this. Now what happened? The size of this sand dune is now this one. So now there is a little increase in size of the sand dune. So that means that sand dune is a living organism? No, sand dune is not a living organism. When we see growth in human beings, when we say growth takes place in human beings or animals or plants, when we say growth takes place in these, that is in these organisms, then here in these organisms growth is internal. Growth is internal, that is we are not putting something on them or we are not attaching something. Like here, if we say the plant shows growth, then we are not attaching the leaves to the plants. The growth of leaves is taking place from inside the plant itself. We are not, that is animals, we are not growing horns on that is if we take an example of cow. We are not, that is putting something on the horn so that the size of the horns will increase. It is not like that. Growth takes place from within. Growth takes place from within. That is, the growth here is internal. It is not because of the accumulation of particles. But in the case of the sand dune, the growth is not from inside. The growth in the sand dune is because of the accumulation of objects, or not just objects, we'll say accumulation of particles. So it is here, the growth is external. Here the growth is seen in sand dunes, the growth is seen, and here the growth is external, and here in this human beings, animals and plants, here also growth is seen, but the growth is from within, the growth is internal. But in both the cases we have seen that a growth has taken, that is increase in size has taken place. So this increase in size is seen in both this non-living things as well as in the living things. So now this growth cannot be taken. This growth cannot be taken as a defining property or exclusive property of a living organism. Of course, living organisms shows growth. There is no doubt about that. Of course, living organisms shows growth, but Here the growth is not the defining character of a living organisms. Growth can be shown by non-living organisms also. Only difference is it is here in living organisms, it is the growth is internal, and in non-living organisms the growth is external. In both the cases growth is seen. So here we can say that growth is not an exclusive characteristic of a living organism. It is shown by living organism, but it is not an exclusive characteristic of a living organism. Now coming to this next, we'll write one by one here. The first thing which we see in living organism is growth. Next is reproduction, response to stimulus or consciousness, response to stimulus or consciousness. Here cellular organization. So now we have seen this first property which is seen in living organism, that is the growth. So growth takes place in living organism, but it is not a defining characteristic or the exclusive characteristic. Now next we will come to this next property, that is reproduction. The next property, that is reproduction. Here in this, what is reproduction? What actually is a reproduction? Here reproduction is a basic process which takes place in living organisms. Process which takes place in living organisms, where living organisms reproduce. Reproduction is a process in which living organisms reproduce young ones or produce, we can even say, new organisms. So reproduction is a process in which living organisms produce new organisms, or living organisms produces new young ones, which will be helping in the continuity of generation. Continuity of generation. This reproduction, the process of reproduction, helps in the continuity of generation. How it continues from one generation to another generation? By producing new organisms. These newly produced organisms are almost, that is, are similar to that of the parent organisms. The new organisms, the newly produced organisms are similar to that of the parent organisms, like a human baby. Human baby resembles like a human being. A baby of, that is kitten. Kitten resembles to that of a cat. Dog, puppy resembles to that of dog. So here the organisms, the newly produced organisms or the babies will be resembling, not similar, resembling to that of the parents. So now can we say that this reproduction is a defining characteristic of a living organism? There are many organisms. So here what happens? Like there are many couples, human couples, they cannot bear children. They cannot bear children because of the various reasons, some defects in the reproductive system, or some problems or whatever. Because of different reasons, they cannot be able to bear the children. Does that mean that they are not living organism? That person or the couple which are now unable to reproduce, bear children, so they are not the living organisms? No. They are living organisms, but they cannot show the process of, they cannot carry out the process of reproduction. They cannot produce the young ones. Now we can take another example of mules. Example of mule. Mule is a cross between donkey and a horse. Mule is a cross or a hybrid of donkey and a horse. So now this mule is a sterile organism. This is a sterile animal, that is, it does not have ability to reproduce. So does that mean that mule is not a living organism? No. So now this reproduction is taking place. Reproduction is a process which takes place in the living organisms. Okay, and this reproduction cannot take place in non-living organisms. Like a chair, can it reproduce a new chair? No, it cannot reproduce a new chair. But human beings can reproduce, animals can reproduce, plants can reproduce. But there are certain exceptions in this human beings, that is, some couples will not be able to bear the children. So that doesn't mean that they are not living organisms. So now this reproduction also cannot be considered as a defining property. We cannot say that it takes place only in the living organism. If this reproduction does not take place, that organism is not a living organism. So it is a process which takes place in the living organisms, but it is not a defining characteristic of a living organism. Now coming to this next, I'll add one more point here, metabolism. So now we'll take another property, that is metabolism, metabolic reactions or metabolism. Here, what actually are metabolic reactions? The reactions which takes place in the bodies of living organisms, which helps them to survive and grow. So such reactions are called as metabolic reactions. That is, reactions, metabolic reactions are the reactions which takes place in living organisms, which helps them to carry out various processes in body. So metabolic reactions are those reactions which takes place in the living organisms. And so why these reaction takes place in the living organisms? So that living organisms can carry out various processes. So here we all know living organisms perform various processes in order to survive. That is, they perform digestion. Example, they perform digestion, they perform respiration, they perform excretion. So these are the basic processes which takes place in the bodies. Examples of basic processes which takes place in the bodies of the living organisms. And for these processes to carry out, here living organisms shows, that is inside the body of the living organisms, certain reaction takes place. And these reactions help in carrying out these processes. And when living organisms carries out these processes, then these processes will be helping the living organisms to survive. Now, can these living, or that is these reactions takes place in this non-living things? Can this chair or the bench or this board or this pen, Can they show the metabolic reactions? Can they show the process of excretion, reproduction or digestion, respiration? No, they cannot show. We can even take an example of in vitro, that is in vitro reactions. We can do this one. Here we can take the test tube and put all the things, that is food materials in it, and when we put the chemicals or the enzymes which is required, because in order to carry out these reactions our body will be having enzymes and all. So when we put all these enzymes and all now, so here also reaction will be taking place, but it is not taking place inside the body. It is taking place outside in a laboratory. Outside in a laboratory. It also gave us results. Okay, after digestion starch is produced. Here also when we put that enzyme, starch will be produced. But the difference is, here we are doing all those things. We are providing everything. But here it is, that is all the enzymes are produced by the living bodies itself. Those reactions are carried out by themselves. There is no need for us to help in order to carry out these reactions. So here these reactions takes place only and only in living organisms, and each living organisms show these metabolic reactions. If there is no metabolic reactions, then the person cannot survive. So we can say this one, this metabolism is a basic defining property or defining characteristic or exclusive characteristic of a living organism. This metabolism is shown in all living organisms. So this is an exclusive characteristic of a living organisms. Till now we have seen growth. Okay, growth takes place in the living organisms, but it is not a exclusive property of living organism. Then we have seen reproduction. So reproduction also a process which takes place in the bodies of the living organism, but still it cannot be taken as a basic or defining or exclusive characteristic. Now coming to this metabolism, all living organisms shows metabolic reactions. Non-living organisms cannot show metabolic reactions. These living organisms shows metabolic reactions, and these metabolic reactions will be carried out by themselves inside the body. So this metabolism can be considered as a defining characteristic of living organism. Now coming to this next, that is response to a stimulus. The next characteristic which we'll take is response to stimulus. What do you mean by this responding to stimulus or responding to stimuli? Here it means, basically means being aware of our surroundings. That is being aware of our surroundings or environment. Right now, what does this mean, being aware of our surroundings or environment? Right now I am here teaching you people, but still I am aware what is happening around me. Here at my, that is behind this wall, road is there. I can hear the sounds of the vehicles coming. I can differentiate, oh this is a bike is coming, an auto is coming, a car, that is a bus is coming. I can differentiate, I can know what is happening around us. So I can hear the voices around us which happens even when I am explaining you people, but still I am conscious of my surroundings, what is happening around me. So living organisms responds to stimuli. Okay, here what happens, if I will give you one example. Here when I am standing here, if I see a snake, what I will do? I will keep standing here? No, I will, because as soon the change in the environment is the presence of snake. Earlier snake was not there. Now a snake has entered. Okay, now what will I do? I'll just basically start running in other direction. Okay, and along with me a chair was also placed. Now the chair will run? No, I am a living organism. I am aware of what is happening around me. But a chair, it is a non-living organism. It is not aware of what is happening around it. It won't run. It will be at the same place. So the organism, this response to stimulus is a basic and exclusive property which is shown by the living organisms. So that is one, that is being aware of our surrounding, which is even called as consciousness. Consciousness. We are conscious what is happening to us. We know what is happening to us. Okay. Now, here one thing is there. Here it is a basic property of a living organism. Only living organisms will be responding to stimulus. Non-living organisms are unable to respond to stimuli. Okay. If a living organism is dead, then it won't respond. That is, when it is dead, it is not called as living. It is dead. So now, here one exception is there. Coma. When a person is in a coma, is he aware of the surroundings, what is happening around him? The doctors are coming, the nurses are coming, people, that is his relatives are visiting. Is he aware of them? No, he is not aware of them. Who is coming, who is going, what is happening around him, he is aware of that, he is not aware. But here what happens is, when we inject something, when we put injections or medicines inside his body, so here that person responds. When that person responds to that injections and those medicines, so that means the person is a living. It is not responding to the outer environment, but inside the body whatever is happening, something is entering, and that is some injection is being entered, some drugs are being entered into the body, some medicines are being entered into the body. So that organism will respond to that drugs, will respond to that medicines. Okay. So now the person is not aware of the outside environment, but the person will be responding internally. The person will be responding internally, but it is showing the response. So we can say that the response to stimulus or consciousness is a basic defining property of a living organisms. This consciousness or response to stimuli is not seen in the living organism. All living organisms shows response, that is give response to change in the environment. So we can take this also, this response to environment and consciousness are also the basic defining properties of a living organism. Now coming to this last, that is the cellular organization. Cellular organization. When we say that metabolism is a basic defining characteristic of a living organism. Okay. Now where are these metabolic reactions taking place? In our body. These reactions are taking place in our body, but actually where are they taking place? These reactions are taking place inside the cells. These reactions are taking place inside the cells. We all know that the basic and fundamental unit of living organism is a cell. Okay, and a cell is said to be a living cell when it performs those metabolic reactions. Okay, and we all know that cells are organized and form, the cells organize and form tissues. Tissues will again organize and form organs, then organs into organisms. So like this, the cells, each and every cells perform the metabolic reactions and they organize themselves and they organize themselves. All the cells will be helping in carrying out the metabolic reactions. So here this one, the cellular organization takes, will the cellular organization can be shown in this non-living things? No, the cells, the cells are not present there, the cells does not show, any metabolic activity in them. So here now the cellular organization is also be considered as the basic and defining property of a living organism. Now we have seen all these properties. Now at the end, when we define a living organism, so what is actually a living organism? When we define this living organism, now we can define them as organisms which are self-evolving, self-replicating, self-regulating, and which responds to stimulus. So the organisms which are self-evolving, evolving in the sense it shows, this living organisms shows the process of evolution, that is ascertained, that is from a small organisms. Here earlier in this in the beginning, small organisms, over the years they have shown different, that is different, because after going through different stages, that is those small organisms have emerged into bigger animals or bigger organisms. So that process is called as evolution. Will not go there here, but living organisms evolve. They show different, over the years they show different characteristics. They will be evolving. So the organisms which are self-evolving, which are self-replicating, that is reproducing, which can reproduce. The organisms which can reproduce, that is self-replicating, and the organisms which can self-regulate, that is carry out the basic metabolic reactions. Okay, and which responds to stimulus. Now when we say what is living organism, we can define that living organisms are the organisms which are self-evolving, self-replicating, self-regulating, and which responds to stimulus, are called living organisms. So because reproduction over the years, it shows evolution. So this is the basic definition of a living organism. The organisms which are self-evolving, self-replicating, self-regulating, and which responds to stimulus. So now we have seen